Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. My name is Brandon, and I'm a Toledo Naturalist member, and kind of bummed out that we're not able to have our usual programs and our field trips. So we're trying to bring the wildflowers to you every early May. Eric Durbin often leads a walk out at Gall Woods, and because of our current situation with regard to the coronavirus, we were unable to do that. And so we're gonna try to bring the wildflowers to you guys here. This is our virtual wildflower walk, so I hope you enjoy it. Here's one of our earlier bloomers. This is bloodroot. The genus name Sanguinaria comes from the Latin meaning bleeding. And this one is blooming right now, but will quickly lose its petals after pollination. The stem has a juicy stem and root has a juicy liquid that has been used for dye, as well as being used for insect repellent. This is bloodroot. Here is pussy toes. This is the host plant for the American lady butterfly. It's a good ground cover, and it's called pussy toes because when it blooms, which it's not doing right now, the bloom looks like a cat's paw, and there's a number of other common names that kind of reference that look-alike. So this is pussy toes. Here's a very recognizable wildflower in northwest Ohio. This, of course, is mayapple. And my daughter Audrey, 6 years old, will always remember, I think, fellow TNA member Karen Mitchell telling her that box turtles like to eat mayapple. These are mayapple.
This is Evergreen Lake, and here is a stand of marsh marigold right in the edge of a little vernal pool that also has a lot of skunk cabbage here.
This is ground cedar, one of the club mosses. The genus is Lycopodium. Here's one that's beginning to get some spores. Here's an orchid, downy rattlesnake plantain. You can see the leaves are evergreen, and here's the old seed head from last summer.
Here Elliot shows off spotted wintergreen. Small toothed leathery leaves have white stripes and stay green all winter. Creamy white flowers appear in summer.
One of the less common ferns in our area is grape fern, a rather small fern here at oak openings. It hasn't got its sporophile yet. Here's a nice little sedge blooming. It's in the genus Carex, and I don't know the species, but I'm going to go home and try to look it up.
We're going to be looking at a couple shrubs this morning that bloom very early in the spring. And what you're looking at now are the catkins of the pussy willow shrub, Salix discolor. These pussy willows and the catkins that are their blooms, the catkins come out very early in the spring. I would say probably end of February, March. They're very well spent now, unfortunately. They're beautiful, when they're at their peak, and they attract many insects. The pussy willow is an important plant because it is the host plant for the viceroy, the mourning cloak, and the Acadian hairstreak. This is one of the smaller spice bush shrubs that I have, and as you can see, it has some beautiful yellow flowers on it still, but as I get closer, you can see that the leaves are starting to emerge from the flowers. Right now we're looking at the blooms of the serviceberry shrub. The blooms right now for the serviceberry are absolutely gorgeous. They just started to bloom maybe a week or so ago. The serviceberry is a well-known shrub by the robins because they wait for the berries to come out and they really cherish them and gobble them up pretty quickly.
I live in the Oak-Opens region, and my backyard has an area that has been natural since I moved here 30 years ago. In this area is a patch of toadshade trillium, which is also called Trillium sessile. The term sessile comes from the term sessilis, which means low sitting. As you can see, this flower has no stalk. There are two variations of this plant, which has attractive leaves which are whorled and has a flower that can either be green with green sepals or has another flower which can be purple in color. You can see the seeds forming on the inside. This flower is traditionally foul-smelling, which attracts beetles and ants, which are its primary pollinators. And the seed has an eliosome, or oil body, which attracts yellow jackets and ants to take it to their burrows and aid in seed dispersal.
So here's a big colony of trout lilies. You can see them all the way back there. I've read that only 1% of a colony will bloom in any given year, so if that's true, you can imagine how many of these are here. But they're, they're also called dogtooth violets. I think because the underground corm looks like a tooth. I'm not sure about the violet part because these are in the lily family. I really like their little droopy heads. I don't know if I can get down under there to show you one. Also, the trout lily name might have been inspired by the patterns on the leaves. You can see there that they might make you think about trout. And also, the seeds of these are dispersed by ants and crickets, believe it or not. So this is a really nice colony here. This is Dicentra cucullaria, also known as Dutchman's breeches. And as you can see, it looks like pairs of pants hanging on a laundry line. It's one of my favorites to find every year. Let's see, one interesting fact about this is that only long-tongued bees like bumblebees can reach inside to get the nectar. Other insects can get the pollen, but only those long-tongued bees get the sweet stuff. And this is a clump that I just transplanted into my yard from my neighbor. And I found there's already somebody here napping and guarding his laundry. So I think I'm going to leave him alone and move along.